Let's start with what they want. The SAT doesn't expect a lot from its test takers. All they want is a first draft quality essay based on a one-sentence prompt that they will provide. You can't write that much anyway, since you only have 25 minutes to write it, and your essay will be scored on a scale of 0 right up to 6. 0 is an atrocious essay that has no relevance to the issue whatsoever, and 6 is the best possible score. Let's examine what College Board believes a top quality essay is. An essay with a score of 6 does all of these things. The first is that it effectively and insightfully develops a point of view on the issue. And basically this means that you must have a stand and a thesis. So in your essay, you're not required to present counter-arguments and all sorts of things like that. You can just basically be a big, bigoted, bumbling beast and say only things that support your stand, and College Board will be totally fine with it. You have to get this right. It's counterintuitive. The second important thing is that you must demonstrate outstanding critical thinking using clearly appropriate examples, reasons, and other evidence from studies, experience, or observations to support your position. In your essay, you will need to cite examples that are relevant to the prompt and back up those examples with your own reasoning and thoughts afterwards. Now, we'll come back to how we include all these things in the essay later, but do note that you shouldn't and may not argue solely based on logic alone. That will net you a very low mark, as the SAT essay is an example-driven one. If you assert, "I think, therefore I am," that sounds really cool as your main argument, but since it's based on logical deduction, they won't look too kindly upon your essay. However, if you put that same sentence and you attribute it to René Descartes, they will be very impressed. At the very least, you mentioned one example in your essay and expound on that example throughout. So I'll teach you how to pick up these examples for your SAT essay wisely, and we'll do this later on in the topic. The third thing is that it's well organized and clearly focused, demonstrating clear coherence and smooth progression of ideas. What exactly does this mean? This means, are you writing in a structured manner that would make sense to your reader, or are you just waiting and writing for random things that happen to pop into your mind at any point in time? The way you should do this is to employ the hamburger structure, which I will cover in a later checkpoint. Now, this will help you organize your essay. Don't run off to eat the hamburgers just yet. The fourth thing is to exhibit skillful use of languages using a varied, accurate, and apt vocabulary. So you can throw in a moderate amount of vocabulary, you can throw in a moderate amount of complex vocabulary, but you must beware that the pitfalls of using too many impressive sounding words that you don't know the meaning of can result in a negative effect. Using too many difficult words makes your essay more tedious to read, while the erroneous usage of vocabulary may tell your grader that you're just throwing in those words for the sake of impressing them. Take, for example, this speech from V for Vendetta. Sounds extremely grandiose, sounds really nice, lower score. Next one to look at is how your essay demonstrates meaningful variety in terms of sentence structure. If you've ever seen a UN resolution, if you've ever taken part in a mock UN conference, you know that they tend to be full of a page of long, unending, monotonous sentences that sounds like, "We recommend that all LEDCs encourage growth of alternative energy-producing companies in the local context," condemns the actions of Muhammad Gaddafi and decides to remain seized of the matter. This is very, very boring. So the idea behind this is to vary the ways that your sentences put forth ideas. This keeps your scorer awake and interested and helps you convey your ideas in an engaging manner. You also need to make sure that your essay is free of most errors in grammar, in usage, and in mechanics. This means that you should be very familiar with subject-verb agreement, tenses, etc., etc. This is a place where reading comes in useful. You need to get used to the English language, and you need to be thinking in your head in the English language. This we will cover in the topics for SAT writing and reading.